Mr. Dettmar, you have now been legally convicted of perverting the course of justice and have thus lost your profession as a family court judge, even though you were one of the few judges in Germany, if not the only one, who stood up for the welfare of children during the corona period and tried to end, and actually did end, the mask and testing mandates at 2 schools in Thuringia, at least for a few days. What motivated you to participate in this Corona Investigative Committee in Thuringia, or at least to attend as a spectator, despite everything?
Today I am here as a listener and I am simply interested in the following. Since the publication of the RKI protocols, at the very latest since that publication, everyone actually knows that those who critically examined the measures were right in all or almost all key points. For example, it is well known that masks worn by lay people in public spaces are ineffective. That is, they provide no benefit, but can actually cause significant harm. And the same applies to the corona vaccinations. The RKI knew this as well, not just recently or since today, but from the very beginning. And that raises the question for me, if it really was the case that the RKI knew this from the very beginning, not just, as some say, that they could have known better, but that they actually did know better from the start, then why were these measures still implemented? I would really like to know that, and I'm not the only one. I believe that this question urgently needs to be clarified by everyone, and investigative committees as well as commissions of inquiry can contribute to this. And this is a question that perhaps even public prosecutors may have to deal with. And as a listener here today, I expect that a contribution will be made toward clarifying this issue.
Yes, those are legitimate questions. I am involved in several investigative committees, and by now it has become clear that actually all the experts, renowned virologists like Professor Dr. Kruger, Professor Dr. Kekula, as well as the established parties themselves, have to admit that what was done to the children was horrific. Those are the words. So this is now criticism that has become widely accepted? How does it feel to know that, on the one hand, it is now part of our collective understanding that what happened was disproportionate and that great harm was done to children, and on the other hand, that you were condemned for your actions in your practice?
Well, of course, that triggers very mixed feelings in me, above all, because so far no court has dealt with the substantive question. That is, whether my decision was substantively correct. No court has considered that necessary.
So you believe that perhaps it really does take the investigative committees, basically because the mistakes were made at the political level and therefore need to be resolved politically, so that this understanding can eventually make its way into the judiciary, perhaps?
As to exactly where the mistakes were made, I don't want to give a definitive answer. I'd have to speculate about that as well. That's why investigative committees, commissions of inquiry, and other such bodies are necessary to look into why these measures were ordered when, in fact, a central player like the RKI knew from the very beginning that they were not justified.
That's what the public wants to know? Will you dare to take the case to the European Court of Justice?
That hasn't been decided yet.
Okay. Yes, it has truly been an honor for me to interview you, and I think that half of the adult population in Germany, maybe even more than half, if we're being generous, really appreciates what you have done. But certainly the children in Germany, how many do we have? 14 million? Yes, their young souls have definitely been touched by it. I believe that you are a hero to many. Thank you very much for the interview.
Goodbye.